The production of this program is made possible thanks to the support of the following and viewers like you. Captain James T. Kirk starts each episode of Star Trek saying, "Space, the final frontier." These are the voyages of the Starship Enterprise. Its 5-year mission? To explore new worlds, to seek out new life and civilizations, to boldly go where no one has gone before. Well, 5 years is a long time, and packing 5 years of food would be impossible. While the writers of the series dealt with the production of food in a variety of ways, everything from colored cubes to a protein resequencer that could replicate certain foods, and an onboard hydroponic greenhouse to grow fruits and vegetables, the reality of producing food in space is extremely complex. And if we are planning 3 or more year missions in space, we need to learn how to grow food on the way and once on the planet that we land on. At the University of Guelph, Professor Mike Dixon and a team of researchers has been tackling this challenge for 20 plus years. And Dixon says we can grow food, not all the food we grow here on Earth, but we can grow food. That, however, is just the beginning. Being in space means you have no choice. You have to have a zero environmental footprint. That means zero waste. The waste you produce has to be recycled and put back to work immediately. Dixon adds, we can't wait for nature because nature isn't fast enough. I invited Dr. Michael Dixon to join me for a conversation that matters about growing food in space and what lessons we can apply to growing climate-smart food here. Mike, welcome.
My pleasure, Stuart.
What is it that you're doing in your lab as far as the production of food that we should really care about?
We're trying to come up, and we've been at this for a while, over 30 years now, looking at how controlled environment agriculture, how to grow food in harsh environments. And we're using outer space as the technical pull. So if we can solve food production requirements in outer space, the moon and Mars in particular, then the technical challenge of, say, Canada's north or deserts of the Middle East become almost child's play.
Yeah, except for it's not. How complicated is it to be able to determine how to grow food in space? What are the elements that are in motion?
Well, you need to have really very tight control over light intensity, light quality, CO2, temperature, humidity, nutrients, and water, and in the case of space exploration, pressure. So we have very unique controlled environment chambers here that can deal with all of that and simultaneously monitor a plant's physiological response to whatever environment cocktail you throw at it in terms of photosynthetic gas exchange, CO2, oxygen, and water vapor. So we follow second by second how the plant is dealing with each of those responses to the environment and use that to optimize then the environment control recipe for whatever application, especially, well, only in a controlled environment application.
So when you think about how complex the Earth's environment is, how is it that you're able to duplicate that?
Well, we don't want to duplicate it. Plants have the capability to respond to a huge range of almost every environment variable except temperature. And it's almost half an order of magnitude there. So plants do very well. They'll acclimate to almost anything. We've learned that you can take the pressure down to 1/10 of Earth's atmosphere, which is remarkable. We can't, you and I can't handle that. But plants, as long as you give them enough oxygen for respiration, a little squirt of CO2 and some water vapor so that they don't dry out, grow like they're in your backyard at 1/10 of Earth's atmospheric pressure.
Do you need nitrogen as well?
We use nitrogen as a buffer gas, but basically 7 kilopascals of oxygen, 0.1 kilopascals of CO2, and 1.2 or 3 kilopascals of water vapor, and then the rest up to about 10 kilopascals of nitrogen or any other buffer gas, argon, whatever. But oxygen, CO2, and water vapor is the recipe for plants. They can adapt to or acclimate to virtually anything we throw at them. So they're not the limitation in designing the conditions and the hab for space exploration for the moon and Mars. It's us. We're the main limitation. We need, we're kind of handy. We're kind of stuck on 21 kilopascals or 21% oxygen. And so that will be the main limitation. So we'll design since we know that the gloves are off basically as far as plants are concerned, it turns out that pollinators, for example, we put bees in our chamber, tried to figure out how you could mess with the atmosphere composition and pressure and still having pollinators doing their job for example, tomatoes, which we don't have self-pollinating tomatoes yet. So turns out that pollinators, once you get down to about a third of Earth's atmospheric pressure, remember plants can handle a tenth, so once you get down to about a third, well, bees can't fly. The physics of flight are defeated by that. Plus, they're kind of not happy about the low oxygen either. So we kept the pressure down and increased the oxygen so we wouldn't wipe out our little pet bee hive colony. And turns out they came back to life happily, and they walked to work because they couldn't fly.
Now I got to get you to hang on for a second while we take a quick commercial break. The production of this program is made possible thanks to the support of the following and viewers like you. So you're going to send bees to space as well?
Well, bees are probably not the best candidate for pollinator. There's lots of others. But we'll definitely be looking at how do all the different organisms, including us, deal with the really strange environment conditions, because we're not necessarily, in fact, we're almost certainly not going to have full Earth atmosphere with the pressure and the atmosphere composition that we're used to and know and love, because it's too expensive. The mass and energy cost of containing that is almost prohibitive. So when we go to Mars in particular, the atmosphere composition and the life support machine, the plants that we take with us, will deal with a different environment than what we have here on Earth. So we need to figure out what are the limits, where are the thresholds of atmosphere composition and pressure that, because we'd like to have a low mass inflatable system like Matt Damon had on Mars in The Martian.